number on purpose.
What's up, guys? Crazy Horse here. I got a new whip. Jeff Little at Torqeedo sold me a Radar 135, Wilderness Systems Radar 135, and it's about to go on its, well, maiden voyage with me. Jeff had it at trade shows. He said it was at trade shows more than it was on the water. But it'll be its maiden voyage with me. Alright, so I'm going to walk you guys through the setup on this, how I've set it up. I'm not completely done rigging, but just a little bit of advice for, maybe somebody who's newer at kayak fishing. It's really not a great idea to just completely rig out your kayak all in one. Even though this is now my 4th kayak, and I know pretty much how I want it, every boat's different, so you want to kind of do things a little bit at a time. Now, having said that, a lot of you guys are going to look at it and say, oh my God, you've got a lot of gear on here. And I do, but there's still some ideas that I have, but I want to add slowly. So from the very beginning, on this Radar 135, this Wilderness Systems Radar 135, I've got fishfindermounts.com non-powered mount here that has a gear track adapter. You guys probably seen that on my other boat. It does have a Yak Attack arm here. I like that because it gets it a little bit higher, a little bit above my rod holders here, and it, since I fish saltwater, it also keeps some of the salt off of the electrical connections and even the screen a bit. Really ran the battery easily here. This is a feature of the kayak that I really like, but really easily here. And there's a little notch right in here for your 7 amp hour battery. It's pretty cool. Now, Jeff Little also sold me the Helix pedal drive. I haven't installed that yet. I'm pretty sure I will, but I'm trying to come up with a solution to incorporate both the Torqeedo, which you'll see in a moment, and the rudder, and figure out steering. For now, I've just got the little hatch that's here. I'm sticking with the 2 Scotty mount rod holders for now. I might change these to rail blazes. I'm not 100% sure on that. The feature I really like about the kayak is this paddle clip here. Even put like a little notch here for it to rest. A lot of you guys probably noticed in my other videos on my ocean kayak, you're like, where's the paddle? I had a paddle. It was just in 2 pieces and stowed inside the kayak because I didn't really have a good solution for clipping it onto the kayak. Going around, here's the magnetic transducer mount. This kayak on the underside of that pod that I showed you where the battery is, actually I'll show you that. Really has a great place to mount your transducer. It would go right down through there. I'm a little OCD about my transducer. I've had a transducer mounted in a transducer well before. I like to be able to see it and know that it's level, and know that it's clear of debris. that's just a little thing that about me. Moving farther back, I've got the Air Promax Seat, which I'm super psyched about. Tired of having a wet butt. This will get me up. Jeff Little actually helped design this kayak, so I know he had this in mind. You can fit 2 batteries here. Come on guys, that's awesome. So I got 2 915 batteries. I'll never go through those. Literally, I could be on full blast all day and never go through those. Yak Attack camera mount. I'm not a big fan of this one. I'm looking for something a little bit more low profile. Visipole light. My black pack. And alas, the Torqeedo with the new mount on it. So I'm stoked about that. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna take it for a spin, see if I can catch some fish, and I'll get some footage for you guys out there. Thanks. So one thing that I'm really excited about with this kayak is the stability, and in a second you will see a demonstration of the stability. I do apologize in advance for the slight wardrobe malfunction with my shorts. I think it's still appropriate for a family show, but so I'm slowing down here. But I've seen some guys that'll stand all the way up on the bow of the kayak and all the way back on the stern. I'm a little bit too big for that, but just in terms of standing and casting, which is really all I'll ever need to do, this kayak is more than sufficient and really, really stable. It's like a yacht out there compared to other kayaks that I've owned. You can see me putting all of my weight over to the right, no problem. All of my weight over to the left, no problem. Sitting back down wasn't a problem. Getting up wasn't a problem. And I don't need a pull-up strap. So that's a big plus. It wasn't quite as fast as my Trident 4.3. It's built differently. The max speed I got today, I believe, was 5.2. All right, guys, so my initial impressions on the Wilderness Systems Radar 135 are, this is a super stable boat. You know, I just feel completely at ease. I can stand. It tracks through the water really well. It just handles the water. It's just what you want from a kayak. Other things of note, the seat, I could sleep in this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. I've only been in it for maybe an hour, but I don't think I'll ever get sore sitting in this seat. This thing's amazing. Lastly, I've also never been this dry an hour into a kayak ride. This boat holds about 475 pounds, which is up from my Trident Ultra 4.3 that held 375, and 375 seems like plenty until you weigh 225, until you have, you know, a 5 or 6 pound fish finder battery. Your fish finder setup itself weighs another 10. Your Torqeedo weighs 22 pounds. Your fishing rods, your fishing gears, and you start getting up, you know, up over 300 pounds. And you look down, and your kayak is, you know, the edge of your kayak's only that much above the water. I'm so dry on this boat, A, because the seat's keeping my my butt up off the bottom of the kayak, but B, if you look here, there's a full 6 inches that I'm above the water. So I'm a lot higher up. This kayak's a lot more buoyant than any other kayak I've ever been in. And you know, I'm dry as a bone, which, you know, during the summer isn't all that critical. Sometimes it's nice actually to get a little bit wet. But the best fishing around here where I live is when the water's cold. Stripers, they call them rockfish around here, love colder water. And you know, now I'm looking at the fish finder, it's saying the water is 77 degrees. When the water gets over 80, those stripers don't like it too much. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be fishing these waters when the water's 45 degrees, and that's when I'm gonna be real happy to be dry, because you don't want to get wet when the water's 45 degrees. That's like Captain Obvious statement of the year. But yeah, so far this Wilderness Systems Radar 135, really loving it. Loving the amount of gear tracks around the edges. Like I mentioned when I was showing the setup, you know, the fact that Jeff Little helped design this kayak is so obvious because of the Torqeedo element. I mean, it's just, it feels like this boat was meant to have a Torqeedo on it. The one thing I do need help from the viewers is I gotta get a solution for both my rudder and my Torqeedo. I've got a couple of ideas, but I'm all ears if you guys have other options. So post in the comments, let me know, and share your Radar 135 rigs. I'd like to see it. I'm not done rigging this one. I'm just I'd like to see your ideas. All right, with everything, there's the good, a bad, and an ugly. And this isn't a game killer by any means. And Jeff told me when he sold the kayak that this center hatch leaks. And of course, like, I'm hard-headed, I never listen, and I have to learn everything for myself. But I need to go back in and seal the center hatch, because I just pulled my kayak out of the water, and you know, when you angle it, I heard a sloosh, and that's a lot of dang water. That's a problem. So I'm gonna have to probably pull up this seal and pull up the center hatch and just put a solid either some weather stripping or a really thick bead of silicone. But you know, it's a great kayak. It's a really great kayak. It's just silly that on such a quality product there would be mishaps like this. And this is a brand new kayak, so you know, you can't blame the seals with age. It's not age. But yeah, I mean, it's an awesome kayak, but if I'm being completely honest, especially with my viewers, which I am, I gotta say that, you know, the customer shouldn't have to go back and do stuff like that. So, you know, a lot of good on this kayak, mostly good, but it's not perfect.
How could it be that you're too good for me when I'm too good for anybody else? I'd rather sit alone by my